I got too much on my mind for me not to use my time wisely. Frozen in my eyes, my future always makes my eyes bleed. It's too bright, use my past as shade.
Alright, so what's going on, guys? Love Cobra here today, and today I'm deciding to try something new. This is a storytime video, as you can see by the title. I decided to do this just because of a YouTuber I watch, Luna. I got inspired by him to do this. I mean, like, I really like his videos and all that. I'm a big fan of him, and after watching him for so long, I decided, hell, why not give it a try? And besides, I have some good story time, so I figured, why not? So I mean, this may or may not become a permanent thing on this channel, and that's just like a beginning part of this video. I'll get into the story in a bit. I know you probably came here for a story time if you're watching this, but I just have to throw this out there. It could be a permanent thing on this channel, but it may not be. It just really depends, because I mean, like, I know my schedule for uploading has been terrible. My last upload was like 2 or 3 months ago, maybe even like later, and like I need to start uploading more. I know I put out on Twitter and Instagram that we were going to start doing stuff more, and that is true. We've just been caught up in a lot of stuff lately. I mean, I got exposed to COVID and all that because, of course, I live with my parents. My dad got infected, so we had to quarantine and all that for a bit, and then, like, you know, Christmas and all that. So we've been sort of behind, yeah, I know, but we're gonna start, like I said, uploading more. We're gonna start working more. We already have a bunch of footage that we could use, we just haven't, and I hope we could still use that footage down the road. But anyways, so going on with our story time, this is story time number 1. I really could have named it something, but I couldn't think of anything clever, so I just named it that. So depending on how long this video is, I'm editing right now as I'm recording this, because I'm using Share Factory on PlayStation, so I have to record this while, you know, in the editing thing. So basically, this video may be, I don't even know how long. Right now I have 23 minutes of footage, almost 24, but that's just because I wanted to record a good amount of back-end footage so you guys have something to watch while listening to my dumbass. So anyways, starting on with my ever first story time. So this was about, I don't even know how long ago this was, if I'm being honest. It was like a few years back, like, and I don't mean like 2015, none of that. I was like still a young kid by then. I was like 9, 10, or 11, around that age. I don't remember my exact age because, like, I don't remember the exact year that happened, but it stuck with me ever since. And it, like, I don't know if I would say it creeped me out, but I mean, it was pretty weird. So starting up, it's like a late night, and originally back in the day, my dad, he used to get off of work at 10 at night, and so like me and my mom would basically be home all day unless like she wanted to go to the store or visit my grandparents, and like of course I'd go with her. But this day, I remember we stayed home the whole day, and I don't remember if we had a dog at this time. I don't remember if we had my dog. We may not have, or she may have been outside. I don't remember. But anyways, so me and my mom stayed home throughout the whole day. You know, I did my usual. When I was younger, I didn't play games as much as I used to, but I did play a lot still, but like not to the extent I do now. So I was probably either playing or I was just probably watching TV in my room, and that's before I moved into the room I'm in now. So I would have been like at the very end of my hall upstairs, but I still would have been able to hear the doorbell and all that, like regardless of if my door was closed or not. So you know, me and my mom spent our whole day doing what we usually do. She stood downstairs watching TV, making lunch and all that, because, you know, that's just how she is. She'll sit down there, watch TV, or she'll be in her room watching TV, or she'll be cleaning, because my mom is the type of person who, like, she wants everything to look really nice, regardless of, like, if we're gonna have visitors or not. And I mean, I understand that. I'm like, you know, it's just, that's what she does, and like I have no problem with it. So that's probably what she was doing. I don't really remember. But so time goes on, and my dad comes home for lunch at 12, and then he goes back to work, and then it's just me and my mom again. And so I'm, of course, in my room, like I said. She's downstairs, And so the whole day went off normal. Like, it literally was just a normal day. And so, from like a normal day in the life, in my life back then was wake up like around, I don't know, like 9:30, and somehow be super energetic. I can't be like that anymore. I'm like, I'd wake up, I'd go downstairs, see what was going on, maybe get a snack or something, or eat breakfast if we were making it, and then I'd come upstairs and either watch TV or play some games, and then I'd go on with my day from there. Or sometimes I'd go outside and like mess around with my basketball and like all that. Like, I really did a lot of stuff back in the day. But now that I'm older, the only stuff that I do is either I go to the park or I'm playing games. And with COVID and all that, I can't even barely hang out with my friends. So really, I'm just stuck in my room most of the time. So anyways, continuing on. So we continue with our day like normal, and nothing weird happens. Like, it's just a completely normal day. You know, I'm in my room, like I said, my mom's downstairs. And time passes, and eventually it gets to 10 when my dad gets off of work. So when he would get off of work, he would like take some time to get out of his work car, because he'd like be checking all his stuff, he'd be talking to like his boss and all that. And so basically, like, he'd get home, but he'd sit in his car for a bit, and he would sit out there and like just, you know, go over stuff and all that. And so then he'd come in like a few minutes after he got home. So it's something I was used to. So I knew he was home because I heard like him pull up. I mean, it was like pitch black outside though, and I couldn't see a thing. And so I'm basically just all, you know, I'm like, oh, he's home, like, cool, you know, because I'm a young kid. Why would I not be happy that he's home? And so he gets home, and I'm like, oh, Dad's home. And then a few minutes later, he comes in, and he sat on that phone talking to his boss for a good damn while, because he gets home at like. So back in the day, he used to really work all around, and depending on where he was, he would get home anywhere from 10 to 12. And yeah, I know that sounds crazy, but it's like what he would do. Oh, I gotta sneeze. Sorry for that. Excuse me. But anyways, so going on from there, like I said, he could get home from anywhere from 10 to 12 to 1. Depending on what his boss wanted him to do, or if they held him, or like if he was just out somewhere far and he, like, you know, was just coming home and it would take a while. So he got home around, I'd say, I remember knowing that he pulled up to our house around like, I'd say, like, this is sort of hard to remember, but like I'd say it was probably around 10:15, 10:20. And I don't know what he talked about with his boss, but it literally was about half an hour when he gets actually like in our damn house. So we're like, hey, what's going on with him? Like, me and my mom are wondering, because usually he doesn't sit out there and talk for that long. He'll just like run through the day and be like, oh yeah, and then we'll talk about tomorrow, and then he'll come in, and then, you know, so on. So me and my mom are like, what's going on? And so eventually he comes in, and like I said, he was on the phone for a damn good while. And so he comes in around 11, and I know this part for a fact because I remember seeing the time on our TV as soon as this happened. So my mom's in our living room, and I'm sitting on like our staircase that leads upstairs. And so like if you were to be at our main door, you wouldn't be able to see me. Like if I was sitting on the staircase, you would not be able to know I was there. You would not be able to know anyone was there, regardless of like if they're super tall or super short, unless they make noise or make themselves known. So you would have no clue someone's there. So I'm sitting right there, and I was pretty small around that time. I mean, for my age, I was still pretty tall, but I wasn't like some super, super tall, like, you know, kid at the time. So from there, I'm sitting on my stairs, and he comes in, he closes the door, he puts his stuff on the kitchen table, you know, the usual. And then he goes upstairs to put all his work clothes, or take his work clothes off, just get dressed for the night, so like, you know, you could just hang out for the rest of the night and then go to bed. And so basically from there, he goes to go upstairs, and that's when our doorbell rings. And keep in mind, at this time it's 11 at night. Earlier it was pitch black at 10. Well, let me tell you, it was damn near, and like you could not see nothing outside. You literally, even if you had like super, super good vision in the dark, or you were like used to it, you would not be able to see a damn thing. It was just pure black out there. and like we don't usually keep our lights on like the front of our house, you know, and so we of course didn't have them on, so we couldn't really see anything. And so, like I said, from there our doorbell rings, and we were like, who could that be? Because like it wouldn't be like any family member. Like I have a cousin who lives down the street, but it wouldn't. So I had my controller set to turn off for 10 minutes, so halfway during that beginning part of my recording it turned off. So here we are again. So anyways, like I was saying, I have a cousin who literally lives down the block from me. Not like super close, like it's walking distance, but it would take at least a good, I'd say 5 to 6 minutes to get there, depending on if you're walking fast or not. If not, it would take like a good 8 to 9. So he's close, but he's not like super close. But like I was saying, like my aunt and my cousin and my uncle would really have no reason to be coming to our house, like, you know, that late at night. Like, unless me and my cousin had planned to like hang out for him to spend the night. And even then, back when we were younger, my parents were like, well, it was more my mom. She really didn't want to have anyone over past like 10:30. That's changed now, of course. Like I could have anyone over past, you know, any time, unless it's like 1 in the damn morning and they're asleep. But anyway, so from there, we were like, who could that be? And my mom, she's a paranoid person. She's like really overprotective and all that. And like, I mean, I get that, but still, sometimes it could be annoying, I'll admit. But I mean, I get it. So her being the person she is, she doesn't like opening the door at all, like regardless of if it's daytime or not. Like if she's alone or if it's just me and her, she does not like opening our front door, like for anyone. And like it's just because she's a super paranoid person. And so like basically, of course, she doesn't go to the door. She stays in the living room and I stay on the stairs. And my dad, being the type of person he is, really like, you know, all like, oh well, I'll go answer it. So he goes to the door and he's still in his uniform. And it's at this moment I should say he's a cop. Well, he's a sheriff. So basically, this is back in the day when he was still a actual, I don't know what it's called, patrolman, deputy, one of the guys who goes around the whole day, just like a normal damn person. I forgot what it's called. I'm pretty sure it's just a patrolman, I guess. I don't know. But, so, basically, back in the day, before he, like, switched to what he does now, his car it was painted. It's a, if I remember correctly, the name of the car is a Crown Vic. But anyways, so our sheriff's department out here is like, the funding is sort of bad. So I mean, it's not like super bad to where we're like, our police can't really do nothing. It's just to the point of where they're stingy with their money and they like really spend it all on pointless shit. So like, this is back in the day, like I said, when he had his Crown Vic. And they also had Tahoes and trucks, but he didn't like Tahoes for some reason. I don't remember to this day, I don't. But they, of course, would have, you know, they'd have these cars painted and marked, and they'd have the lights and all that. So you know, like, you know, it's a cop car. And so he wanted you, like, now he parks his car in, like, the front little dirt section of our house. Like, I probably need to get a picture for more, detail, I guess, because it's sort of hard to explain this. But like our property is pretty big. I'm not saying it's like super big, but we have a lot of area to work with. So we have a trailer on the other side of our house, you know, a camper, and then we have a trailer behind that it's attached to. Or that trailer. Okay, I have to reword this. Our trailer that we put like our quad bikes on and all that, it's attached to the back of our camper, and it's over there with our camper on the right side of our house. And then my dad has this old, I think it's a Ford, like this really old Ford that he had that was his first car. And it's all rusted and all that, and I don't know why we still have it, we just do. It's parked right in front of our gate to our like backyard. And then we also have one of those gates near our camper that are like for moving, I guess you could say. Like hauling stuff in and out. Like one of those big double door gates, if you guys know what I'm talking about. And so, basically, we have like a lot of stuff over there, and then we have a garage that is like big enough for 2 cars, but we have a lot of stuff in there. Like we have no other place for our quads, so we kept our quads in there. And if I remember correctly, this was at the time we had 3. So of course we have those at like the very, very front of the garage. And then if you were to come out of our garage door, like from our house, to the immediate left you have a little workbench. And then to the right of the quads, or to the right of the workbench is quads. And then to the right of those is like 2 other workbenches. And then a door that would lead to our backyard out of our garage. But we always kept that locked, and since we have so much like, you know, stuff in front of it, we never even really get to use it. So it's really just there. There's no use for it. So then behind that, to the right of that, there is where we would have space for another car. But we have a lot of stuff back there. We have our lawn mowers, we have our weed whacker, I think we may have multiple. And then we have our boat, which it's on a trailer. It's like, I don't even know what year that thing is. I don't know what kind of boat it is. I've never really known that much about boats. But it's not like, you know, crazy big, so it could fit in our garage. But that's what takes up most of the space. And then we have some like other stuff like rakes and tools and all that behind it and like near it. So we only have room in our garage for 1 car. And at the time we had a Trailblazer, like it wasn't really old, but it wasn't like super new. We had this like maroon Trailblazer, and so that's what took up the space in our garage. That's what we usually keep our main like family car in the garage. And then my dad has a GMC Sierra, a black GMC Sierra, because he really likes, I don't know, he just likes the color black on cars. And so he would park that in the front of our house, like on the right side of our driveway, and it would be out of the way if he were like backing out of the garage and all that, but it would still, you know, be there. And so to the right of that, right like near his old Ford, he would park there back in the day. He'd park his work car there. And so back in the day, you know, we were used to that. And so I don't know how this person saw his car, because it was pure darkness outside. Like, it was pure, just, you could not see anything. Like, just imagine waking up in like a world without like a sun or a moon or like stuff like that. Like, and there's just no light whatsoever. That's what it would be like. And I don't know why it was so dark. Like, some nights it's just dark out here, and it really has no reason to be. So anyways, continuing on, so he goes to answer the door, and like I could somewhat, like I would peek out here and there, and I'd sort of sit there because, you know, I was a curious kid. I'm pretty sure anyone was as a kid when they were young. So I was peeking out and I could see, and like, but they couldn't see me, or maybe they just didn't acknowledge me. But to this day, I'm pretty sure they didn't see me. So to refer to who they was, it was this woman, and she wasn't like crazy looking. She wasn't, you know, weird looking. She looked normal, but like, it wasn't something that I would really like. It wasn't someone I would trust, I guess you could say. But like, it was still someone who looked normal. Like, if you were to see this person in the street or something, you'd be like, oh, she's normal. But like, I mean, that's sort of a weird example. But like, if you were to see her on the street, you wouldn't be like weirded out. You wouldn't be like, ooh, what the hell? Or like, you know, stuff like that. It would just look like, you know, your normal person. Like, she didn't look like some drug addict or none of that. So that's a better example. She just looked normal, whatever normal is. But anyways, so my dad turned on our little porch light, just, you know, to see who it was. And she's all like, oh, hi. And he's like, hey. Like, because he's all confused to why this woman's at our doorstep at 11 at night. And so she's all like, oh yeah, I saw you're a cop because of your car. My car broke down a few blocks away. I was wondering if you could give me a ride to the gas station so I could get gas. And so keep in mind, my dad gets off at 10. He's off duty. And so him not being a dumbass, which I'm still thankful for, he says, well, I'm off duty, but I could call another officer out here to help you. And so she didn't really say anything, but I saw it on her face. She was sort of like, oh no. And like, so from there, he goes to go, I sit back down, and he goes to go get his radio to like radio in, or like, he also had his work phone. I don't remember, he either used his radio or he used his work phone to call one of the other guys. I'm pretty sure he used his radio though. And so from there, basically, he calls it in, and he's like, oh yeah, I got someone down here. She says her car broke down. Can we get someone out here? And so after doing that, he goes back to the door, and that woman is just gone. She had vanished. No trace of her, nothing. Just completely disappeared. And to this day, it freaks me out. Like, for a few damn good years after that happened, we'd open our garage up just a tad, like not super, super little, but just a tad to where we could turn on our car. Because, you know, you don't want to turn on a car with a closed garage door because that carbon monoxide is going to go everywhere in the garage. So, for a good few years, my mom being paranoid, you know, we did that, and I also did that, because as a kid, it freaked me out. Like, now to this day, I'm like, whatever. But, like, I will admit, it still somewhat freaks me out. Because, like, it was just weird. It was a weird situation. So, she's just completely gone. And, like, it was sketchy. Like, I'm pretty sure anyone could tell that was a sketchy situation. And so, my dad, he calls in, and eventually an officer gets here, and he's friends with a good amount of the guys, so, you know, of course, they're all going to be like, oh, yo, what the hell? And, like, they're all going to be, like, you know, super close and, like, be there for him. And so, there was, like, if I remember correctly, there was two cop cars that patrolled our house all the way until, like, 8 in the morning. And, like, if I'm being honest, as a kid, I thought, like, leaving at 8 in the morning was sort of, like, you know, bad. Like, I was, like, super sketched. I was like, oh, damn, I wish they'd stay longer. Because, like, at the time when I was a kid, that scared the shit out of me. Like, it was just weird. It was a weird situation, and I didn't know how to handle it. So it freaked me out. But, like, I didn't think about it that much, but, like, it really did freak me out. So we had cars patrol our house at night, and my dad, instead of sleeping with his taser near him, like he usually does, he slept with his gun near him, even though it's still remotely near him. But, yeah, so that's the story time of how some random-ass woman came to my house at 11 at night and thought she was going to get away with some shit. We still don't know what she was planning or if there's multiple people with her, but that's one of my mom's theories. So I'll give another quick story time just to add to this, to why my mom thinks what she does. Back when they used to live on the south side of where we are now, she was home alone, and this was before I was born. And so the south side is really a sketchy area, I guess you could say. And someone rang the doorbell, and she looked outside through the blinds, and she saw, like, two other people, like, on the side of the house. Like, say you were taking cover from someone. Like, she saw them pressed up against the side of the house, and so she didn't answer. And if I remember correctly, she yelled at them saying she was going to call the cops or something if they didn't leave. So she was super sketched out about that. And that's what that reminded her of. And so she really didn't, like, you know, trust it. And, you know, the video is almost over, so I got to say this really quick. When they were patrolling our, like, area, they did not find a broken down car anywhere. Like, they searched blocks and blocks, and they did not find a single hint of a broken down car or any broken down car in general. So to this day, we have no idea what that woman was planning or what could have happened if we would have actually, you know, helped her. But anyways, that's the end of today's video. This is my first attempt at a story time. I hope you guys enjoy it. This is Love Cobra signing out.
Whatever you're gonna do, son, do it fast! Bravo 6, I see the flare. Fire rig on the way. Let's go! Let's go! Look out! Go! Go! Hang on!
I got too much in my mind for me not to use my time